Are you dreaming your way to riches? From rags to riches? It happens more often than you might think. In fact, it could be you. Are you content with life as it is, or do you find yourself dreaming your way to riches? If you answered yes, then you are definitely on the right track, because without your imagination, without dreaming, you are not going to get there. Have you ever wondered why some people with equal opportunities land up in such different places? One person is living in wealth with all the comforts of home, while the other person struggles to even pay their rent. Why the difference? It's really quite simple, yet for far too many it remains a mystery. It's all about what you are thinking. If that sounds confusing, you aren't alone. The trouble is we actually create our reality by what we are thinking and dreaming. Here's a question. When you are talking with friends or family, how do you describe yourself? Your life? Are you always talking about how you struggle? Are you saying things like, "I was never meant to be rich," or are you talking about how successful you are, how great life is, how you have so much abundance? Which describes you? If you are the latter, you are in great shape. However, if you are the person who sees yourself as struggling, that's exactly where you will stay. We all have ideas from our childhoods implanted deep into our subconscious, and if you want to change your future, you need to reprogram your subconscious. You need to see yourself as wealthy, having all that you desire, creating the riches that will fulfill your dreams. Every thought that makes its way to your subconscious through any one of your senses is recorded and filed in your brain. You can voluntarily implant any thought you would like into your mind, and your subconscious will act on it. Your subconscious will dominate your desires, and it will direct you. You have complete control over your subconscious mind, and so you set yourself up for failure or success, for living the life of a poor person or the life of a rich person. You simply need the stimuli to influence your subconscious mind to go in the direction you desire. You simply need to imprint your desires in your mind and then have the faith that your desires will become your reality. So start dreaming big today, and tomorrow you can enjoy the riches. Think big, grow rich. All around the world, thousands upon thousands of people have achieved success because at some point they got their hands on a copy of Napoleon Hill's book Think and Grow Rich. There is no doubt that this one book has influenced more lives and played a key role in more fortunes than any other book of its kind. This incredible book helped many to accomplish their goals by unifying their thinking and giving them a clear road to success. Think and Grow Rich has changed numerous lives. When you read the last page of the book, you are no longer the person you were when you began reading your book. This book continues to remain valid year after year, because it is based on a solid foundation. The fact that you can start with nothing but an ideas and grow rich, because ideas are extremely powerful when backed by defined purpose, a burning desire, and persistence. In other words, if you can learn to control your mind, you can control your destiny. There are 13 principles that Hill's book was based on if you wanted to enjoy unlimited success. 1. Desire. 2. Faith. 3. Auto-suggestion. 4. Specialized knowledge. 5. Imagination. 6. Decision. 7. Persistence. 8. Enthusiastic support. 9. Organized planning. 10. The power of the mastermind. 11. The subconscious mind. 12. The power of the brain. 13. The Sixth Sense. 6 easy steps to take you from desire to reality. 1. Fix in your mind what you desire. It needs to be an exact picture. It's not enough to say, for example, my desire is for tons of money. Even be definite about the amount. 2. Decide precisely what you plan to give in return for what you desire. There is no such thing as something for nothing. 3. Determine an exact date that you intend to possess the desired thing by. 4. Design a precise plan to carry out your desire, and then begin to get to work immediately, whether you feel ready or not, to put your plan into action. 5. Write out a clear and concise statement responding to the 4 steps above. 6. 2 times a day, read your written statement aloud. Once, just after you get up in the morning, and once just before you go to bed at night. As you are reading, visualize, feel, and believe you already possess whatever your goal is. The power of your mind in growing rich. Do you want to grow rich? But do you really want to grow rich? How motivated are you? Over the years, there have been many books and speakers telling you how to grow rich, so why then isn't everyone that has read one of these books or listened to one of these speakers wealthy? That's because in order to become rich you need the power of your mind behind you. Let's look at some of the actions you need to take in order to grow rich and enjoy wealth. Number 1. Understand the power of your subconscious mind. It is important that you understand the importance of the power of your subconscious mind. When you set your goals first thing in the morning and at night before bed, you can actually reprogram your brain, and you will teach yourself to focus on what it is you want to grow rich. It will become imprinted on your mind and therefore constantly be focused on methods to get rich. You will find that your belief system is reprogrammed, and that includes how you use your money and energy to help you grow wealthy. Number 2. Identify the negative beliefs you have about money. What do you believe about money? Do you have a preconception about money and wealth that might stop you from achieving your goal to grow rich? There are many negative beliefs associated with money. Some of them include, money doesn't grow on trees, rich people tend to be mean, dishonest, superficial and bad, I'm no business person, if she has that kind of money they must be doing something illegal, spirituality and wealth do not go together, I'm just too young, too old to make a bunch of money, others know the secrets around creating wealth but I don't. You need to learn how to spot these negative thoughts when they jump into your head. You should make a list of the thoughts you know you've had. They could be different from the list of examples. You shouldn't feel bad because you have these thoughts, but what you do need to do is change your subconscious belief system. Hire a life coach, talk with people that have enjoyed success and built wealth, and change how you think about money, wealth, and how it relates to you and how you think. How the rich got that way. Now it's your turn. People like Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, and Mark Zuckerberg didn't go to university for years, they didn't earn a degree, and yet they are some of the wealthiest people on the planet. So what do they know that you don't? They know that you need to dream big. You need to imagine what it is you want and how you want to get there. You need to put that to paper and train your subconscious to think the way the new you thinks. These men had a desire and they were motivated to act on it. They were not scared they would fail, and they never gave up. They remained persistent from the beginning. None of them came from wealthy backgrounds. None of them had lived a life of wealth previously, which means they also had lots of negative baggage going on in their subconscious, but they were ready to teach their subconscious a new way of thinking, and they were ready to live the dream. They did not see themselves as poor or struggling. They did not see themselves as stuck. Not at all. They picked up their idea and they ran with it. The end result wasn't just success, it was amazing success, making them some of the richest people in the world. Great news here. You can be a Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg too. Now I know what you're thinking. I don't have any great ideas like they did. What you need to recognize is that it doesn't matter what your idea is to achieve wealth as long as it is unique, i.e., don't open a coffee shop that's just like Starbucks, and there is a demand for what you are offering. You also need to remember there are different ways to achieve wealth, and so you need to think about what's right for you. You need to really want it. You can't just dream about what it might be like to be rich. You have to have the desire in your heart and in your mind. You have to want it so bad you are motivated to do whatever it takes to get there, and you aren't going to quit when you run into stumbling blocks, and you will, along the way. You are going to need to be ready to take some risks when the potential outweighs the loss, and you are going to need to be ready to get in there and make it happen. You need to understand what success really means. Success isn't just about having so much money you never have to worry again. Success isn't about getting a hospital wing named after you because you gave them money to help build it, because there's no real love there. Success is about what you can with that money to help better the world and others around you. Look at the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, or what U2, Oprah or Angelina Jolie have done. These are people that have enjoyed success because their monuments are not about them but rather about others. Think Big, Grow Rich. Can it really happen? Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill isn't new, and yet it is still one of the most often referred to books when we are talking about becoming rich. That's because it's been well documented that many successful people have found their blueprint to success within Hill's book. Hill has packed his book with many quotes, which are excellent food for thought. This is one of the many that rings true when you are looking to be successful at getting rich. Desire is the starting point of all achievement, not a hope, not a wish, but a keen pulsating desire which transcends everything. This is an excellent quote, because it hits at the nerve of what it takes to become rich. If you are hoping and wishing that you'll get rich and stop your day-to-day struggles and begin to enjoy the life you want, then you will be very disappointed. A year from now or 10 years from now, your life is likely to look much like it does today. Why has nothing changed? Because you simply did not have the desire to make it change. Desire burns in you constantly. It never goes out. It never disappears. There are all kinds of desires, and the desire to be rich is certainly the focus for many. When a person has the desire to grow rich, it is on their mind all the time. They are constantly looking for what they can do to create an environment where they can make money. The person with desire will be analyzing everything they do and see, thinking about whether it's a way to reach their goal of becoming rich. Interestingly enough, when you have the desire, the message becomes planted into your subconscious mind, and that becomes your focus. It becomes your drive, and it becomes your reality. Suddenly you find that you have increased your earnings. But have you created wealth? Or are you still living from month to month? One thing is for certain, you must be your own boss and run your own business in order to create wealth, because as long as you are working for someone else, they control your wealth. So once you have made the big step to dream big and start your own business adventure, you are truly on your way to creating wealth. You now are completely in control of what your earnings look like. You are the driver behind the road to wealth. The starting point of all achievement is desire. Why Warren Buffett found wealth? Warren Buffett is estimated to be worth over $60 billion, and he is the richest man in the entire world. Sorry, Bill Gates, but how did he get there? Was it luck? Absolutely not. Buffett credits his success to a number of key strategies, so let's have a look at some of them. 1. You need to reinvest your profits. In the beginning, when you are first starting to make money, you may be tempted to spend it. You'll need to resist and instead turn around and reinvest your profits. Warren Buffett figured this out very early, because by the time he was 26 he was worth $174,000, and in today's market that's equal at $1.4 million too. You need to be willing to be different. You cannot base the decisions you are making on what others are doing or saying. When Buffett began to manage his money, back in 1956, he refused to tell anyone where he was putting his money, and everyone, including his parent, was sure that he would fail. They were wrong. Buffett looks at what others are doing and sees that as the average, and he's not willing to be average. However, in order to not be average, you must think and act differently than those who are average. 3. Make sure you spell out the deal clearly before you begin. You have the most bargaining power before you start any job or project. That's when you have what the other party wants. That's the time to sit down and work out all the fine details. Make sure it's in writing. You'd be surprised how many people will go back on their word once they have what they want. 4. Watch the little expenses. The big expenses are obvious, but it's the small purchases that will eat up your budget and put you in the poorhouse. Use what you have wisely and reduce the waste as much as possible, because waste leads to lost wealth. 5. Be careful how much you borrow. It's best to not borrow at all. If you are living on your credit cards and your personal loans, you are never going to get rich. In fact, you are never going to get out of debt. If you find yourself in this mess, it's time to negotiate with creditors to pay whatever you can. Then once you are out of debt, begin to start to save. 5 simple things you can do to help you find wealth. Why not start today? Use your imagination to grow rich. What's your imagination doing today? Are you thinking about doing that load of laundry when you get home, or fixing that broken chair? Or are you thinking about cruising the high seas in your beautiful yacht while your crew caters to your every need? Your imagination can make you rich, or it can leave you stuck in the rut you live in today. You should never be afraid to dream big and envision your future with wealth and riches. You are the only one in control of your destiny, and that's something many of us forget as we get caught up in our day-to-day lives that are filled with work, family, struggles, and financial woe. No one is going to hand you wealth, and if you are hoping to win the lottery, you're likely going to be disappointed. You certainly aren't going to grow rich working for another person, but you'll likely help to make them grow rich. Where do you want to put your energy? Are you going to focus on doing a great job at working and helping your company owner to grow rich, or are you going to focus on doing a great job for your own business and making yourself rich? The choice is yours. Now it takes a lot more than walking out the door of your current employer to find wealth. You need to have a dream and a desire. What's your dream? What do you want to be doing 10 years from now? Great, you have the dream now. Do you have the desire? Do you have the drive to figure out a way to get yourself there? Use your imagination and don't be afraid to think outside the box. There are plenty of opportunities awaiting you. Growing rich is also not one of those get-rich overnight schemes. If you are looking for an easy way that requires no work, you are not going to make it to wealth. Growing rich doesn't mean you work your fingers to the bone, but it does require you to participate and be a part of the process. It does require you to turn your vision, your dream, into a reality and to direct others so that it can happen. Bottom line, never be afraid to imagine. Use that power to grow rich and create the wealth you desire. You are in control of your future and your destiny. What will your future look like? You want wealth, not money. Making money and enjoying wealth are two very different things, yet far too many of us associate the two as being the same thing. If your goal is to create wealth for yourself, it will help you to understand what wealth looks like. Wealth is ancient, whereas money is actually a rather new invention. Wealth is the things you want: clothes, food, houses, travel to different places, cars, gadgets, and on it goes. Many people don't realize that you can have wealth and not have money. If you had a piece of technology that could create your every whim on demand, you could create a car, a yacht, or whatever your desire was without ever having money. If you lived in the farthest corner of the planet in isolation where there was nothing to purchase, it wouldn't make any difference the amount of money you have. Wealth is about what you want, not about money. So why do we all focus on money then? That's because in our modern world, money is a way to get to wealth. They become interchangeable. It gets even more complicated because when we discuss making money, it becomes more difficult for most of us to understand how to make money. Money is actually a side effect of a world that has become very specialized. For example, in our specialized world, you might need paper but you don't have the tools to make it. You might need a place to live but you have to acquire that from someone else. If you want, you must buy your food from someone else. Therefore, you need a way to be able to obtain those goods and services from the other person. In the past, the barter system was used. But then life was much simpler. You might have grown potatoes and your neighbor might have had wood. You would trade potatoes for wood. You would then trade potatoes for carpenter skills, and that's how wealth was built back by our ancestors. However, problems arose when you had potatoes, or whatever your commodity was, and the other person didn't want what you wanted or need. That left you having to trade your commodity for something the other person wanted, and then you could trade with them. We've simplified things in the modern world. We now use money, which is the medium of exchange. This allows trade to work effectively and for people to acquire wealth faster, because you essentially have streamlined the process. So you see, money is only a tool to get wealth, which can be built many ways. 4 ways rich people think differently than other people. Gina Reinhardt is the richest woman in the world, and she will be the first to point out that the jealousy of the middle class is unjustified. They are middle class because they are more interested in drinking, socializing, and taking care of their personal desires rather than working towards their wealth. What is her point? It is really quite simple. Average middle-class people think differently than rich people do. It is not actually about money but rather about attitude. The middle class are busy telling others to be happy and content with what they have, whereas the rich are never content with what they have. Let's look at 4 ways rich people think differently. Number 1. Rich people think poverty is the root of all evil, whereas other people think money is at the root of all evil. Most people are brainwashed into thinking rich people are either dishonest or lucky. Number 2. Rich people believe selfishness is a virtue, whereas other people believe it is a vice. Middle-class people see the idea that the rich are out there enjoying life as negative. It is this kind of mentality that will keep you from becoming wealthy. Number 3. Rich people have a mentality based on action, whereas other people have a mentality based on winning the lottery. The majority of people are just waiting for the day that they choose the right numbers and prosperity finds them, but the rich don't think like that. Instead, they are busy looking for ways to create wealth themselves. They aren't waiting around. Number 4. Rich people believe wealth is linked to acquiring the right knowledge, whereas other people think that the road to wealth is through formal education. Many of the wealthiest people that have done the best have hardly any formal education. The masses of people are convinced that they need their master's and doctorate degrees in order to obtain wealth, because they are locked into thinking linear. The wealthy people aren't looking for a means. They are looking only for the end results. They aren't concerned about a formal piece of paper, only the specific knowledge they need to create wealth. That's just 4 different ways that the rich think differently than other people. It's what sets average earners apart from wealthy earners. The way you think is important in the direction your finances go. Do you know the secret to achieving real wealth? The secret to achieving real wealth is in your hands. If it's really what your heart desires, you will make it happen, but if it's something your head talks about but your heart doesn't connect to, it will likely never become your reality. Reaching wealth requires you to have amazing success, and that requires not only hard work but smart work. It also requires you to have the stomach to be able to take risks, the persistence to push through and overcome obstacles that get in your way, and the strength to take rejection. You are going to have to know your industry. One thing that every person has achieved wealth has in common is that they have learned how to cut their losses fast and to run with the winners. They've also learned when to recognize the run with the winners as ending. You need to be able to find the winning strategies for your investment, whether that's the stock market or your business. Let's say that you run a small coffee shop and you've learned that the best business is first thing in the morning, and you've learned how to upsell your morning customers from just a coffee to a coffee and a bagel. Great, that's one winning strategy, but you can't let it end there. You have to continue to look for continuous winning strategies. One month it might be liking a Facebook page, another month it might be taking advantage of a coupon. This is a simple example. The bottom line is the markets are changing constantly no matter what path you take to finding wealth. That's why it is important for you to follow through on any winning strategies and give it the time, money and attention necessary to maximize its value. You also need to stick the strategy long term and keep using it as long as it is working for you. Some winning strategies work for only a short period, but others work year after year. It depends on how you are making your wealth. What is known for sure is that riches follow the person who trusts what they know and figures out how to maximize their effectiveness, while at the same time diligently expanding those winning strategies to continue to grow your income streams and therefore your wealth. The secret is simple: if wealth is where your heart is, then you will focus on creating that wealth. Do you know how to grow rich? Are you tired of showing up to a job where you are underappreciated? Are you finished with giving it all you have at work so that someone else gets rich? Are you done with living paycheck to paycheck? If you answered yes to any one of these questions, you may have a desire for a different kind of life. You may have the desire to grow rich. Bottom line, if you really want to grow rich, you must have desire. Just thinking about it and dreaming about it won't get you there. Of course, you should always dream big and picture what your life will look like once you achieve wealth, but make sure you have the desire or the drive to reach your goals. The starting point of all achievement is desire. We often make the mistake of thinking that in order to grow rich we need to head off to university and get a degree in something. Actually, nothing could be further from the truth. Some of the wealthiest people in the world have no formal education. Hill says, education comes from within, you get it by struggle and effort and thought. Life is your education. On your road to riches, you might stumble and fall not once but many times, and you need to stand up, dust yourself off, and try again, taking away the lesson from your past failure. The education you need to grow rich is learning how others have become rich in the past. Discovering how they have achieved wealth. The majority of men meet with failure because of their lack of persistence in creating new plans to take the place of those which fail. If you don't have the persistence to pick up the pieces and try again, you aren't going to make it to becoming rich. Because the truth is, everyone fails, well, almost everyone, and you will too, and you must be able to make new plans, come up with a new game plan. That's the secret to growing rich. Failure is a trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping one when success is almost within reach. Think about it, you had a failure, but what if success was just a step further and you caved in and gave up on your dream to be rich? Sadly, this happens every day. If you want to be rich, you can, no one can stop you. It's within you. Do you have the desire to make it happen? 5 ways for you to get rich. Everyone has a desire to be rich, but actually only a few get there. Why is that? Many would like to believe it's because others are luckier than they are, and while that might be the case for the minority that win the lottery or inherit a fortune, that's not the case for most. Getting rich requires desire, dedication, skill, and patience. You must be ready to take a risk and weather the storm that follows. Getting rich doesn't happen overnight, but you can make it happen. You can have that life you dream of. 1. Dream big. It begins with having a dream. Write it down, create a mind map of what your life will look like when you are wealthy. Know what it is you want and how you think you'll get there. It's not good enough just to have wishful thinking. Your dream needs to resemble reality, and that starts with your imagination. 2. Live within your means. One of the biggest mistakes people make is to live beyond what their true means are, and credit has made that possible. The trouble is there is no hope of you ever getting out of your vicious cycle if all your earnings go to service your debt. You might be surprised to learn that wealthy people live within their means. Now, from our point of view, that looks pretty luxurious, but because of their wealth, it's well within their means. They, however, are not busy running up credit card debt. 3. Own your own business. As long as you keep working for someone else, you will not become rich. You will simply help to make the owner of the company you work for rich. Instead, take that energy and put it into creating your own wealth and creating your own destiny. 4. Be ready to take a risk. No risk, no gain, no wealth. It's really that simple. There's no sure way to get rich. However, there is a sure way not to get rich, and that's to be too scared to take a risk that something will succeed. 5. Don't be scared. Fear will kill all dreams, and it will kill all desire. If you are scared, you won't be willing to take the risks. As well, if you are living in fear, you are feeding your subconscious negative emotions, and you will never get out from under your current situation until you retrain your subconscious, and that requires positive emotions. You have the ability to get rich, each and every one of us does. The question is whether we act on the dream. If you want to grow rich, you need to think big. You've heard it before, you are what you eat. Well, that methodology also applies to your financial well-being. Think small, you'll live small and struggle with a small income. Think big, you'll live big and find yourself with an abundance of wealth. Now, don't confuse living big with living extravagantly and beyond your means. Live big means you focus on your wealth and on being wealthy. You don't spend your days counting your pennies and worrying about where your next dollar will come from. You know that you will have an abundance of money. You spend time dreaming about how you will use your wealth, where you will live, where you will travel. You think big. That constant focus will guide you in the right direction and help you to achieve your goals. Of course, it's going to take a lot more than just sitting there dream. You'll be disappointed if all you do is meditate your day away envisioning your big pile of greenbacks. But desire will motivate you to reach your wealth. If you are content with the humdrum 9 to 5 waiting for the next paycheck, knowing full well that you'll be broke before you even get that check, then that's the life you are destined to. But if you are not content with that, if your desire is to have the freedom to do what you want, to see what the world has to offer, to live like a millionaire, to travel the world, then you'll have the desire to make that happen. Your imagination is important. Again, if your imagination and desire of being wealthy is limited to dreaming about what numbers you'll pick on next week's lottery ticket, you're still missing what it takes to grow rich. Imagination and self-motivation go hand in hand. Look at some of the wealthiest people and their stories, and you'll find that long before they were wealthy, they were already dreaming about what they could have done better, what they could have done more efficiently. They were motivated. Finally, you'll need to make some decisions. If you are going to grow rich, you simply can't sit on the fence trying to decide. You'll need to make decisions, right or wrong. The wrong decisions aren't a waste because they should be seen as lessons. When you make up your mind, make sure you stick to it. Opinions are everywhere. In fact, on the entire planet, they are the cheapest commodity to be found. So, don't let other people's opinions affect you. You too can become rich. Start by thinking big. If you want to be a millionaire, you have to think like one. How many how-to ebook have you read on getting rich? Would an aspiring millionaire actually spend their money to buy these books, or would they hang on to their seed money worried that they would run short before they even got started? Great news, if you are reading and investing in books on how to be successful and how to grow wealth, you are on the right track. After all, some of the best books on the market have studied millionaires, and their methodology is based on just that, because really, if you want to be a millionaire, who better to study? Most millionaires have been right in some of the things they've done, and some have been right in most of what they've done. Past that, you might be surprised to discover there isn't that much different between their stories of success. You might be surprised to learn that you could very well have a millionaire as a neighbor. Most millionaires do not lead extravagant lives. They live comfortable, but they watch for sales, use coupons, buy in bulk, search for deals, refinish rather than replacing their furniture, and they are very practical, even frugal, in nature. As their wealth grows, they remain that way. Another common trait among millionaires is that they are not afraid to take risk. Don't mistake this for taking foolish risks on get-rich schemes. On the contrary, they do their research and take calculated risks on what they believe will make them money. But they do lose too, and they are willing to take that risk. If they fail, they don't quit. They dust themselves off and they go at it again. Millionaires know how to dream big. They knew how to dream big long before they were a millionaire, and this keeps them focused on making more money, not spending less. You can save half of what the guy next door saves and still end up ahead thanks to what's often referred to as silly behavior in investing. Translated, this means you are busy chasing the next get-rich investment rather than investing in an index fund and investing small amounts every month to average your costs of investment. It seems the essential ingredients in the recipe to wealth is to begin with inspiration and focus. Once you start to enjoy the money coming in, you spend less than you make. That means no living on credit cards, and then you take those savings and you invest them wisely. It's really that simple. How your emotions determine your riches. So you want to be rich, but how well are you doing at achieving your goal? You may be surprised to learn that your own emotions are what are either holding you back or creating the riches you desire. Let's explain further. According to hundreds of others who have created success and become rich, you must make sure that your desires are clearly stated. You should also make sure to write down your desires. In addition to determining your desires, you need to have the persistence to carry out the instructions to achieve your desires. Remember, your subconscious mind is always functioning even when you make no effort to influence it. If you want to benefit your subconscious mind, you need to make sure you are feeding it positive emotions and not negative ones. If thoughts of fear or poverty enter your subconscious, that's the life you're going to live. You are the master of your impulses, and you must learn to feed them the desired food to ensure you get the desired results. Your subconscious is never idle. If you don't take the time to send your desires to your subconscious, it will feed on the negative thoughts that go through your mind. Both negative and positive impulses will reach your mind and create your destiny. By using your controlled imagination, you can create plans and focus on purpose that will lead you to success. Everything that we do starts with an impulse. Humankind creates nothing that does not begin with a thought. When you add in the imagination, you can train your subconscious to create the success you desire. Be careful, because the mind is easily influenced by impulses or any thought that is mixed with emotion or feeling. In fact, there is a great deal of research that would indicate the only thoughts that become actions are those that have emotion associated with them. You are writing the script, and the audience is your subconscious. The response of your audience will depend on the emotional message you deliver and how you influence your subconscious audience. You need to speak the language it can understand. There are 7 positive emotions that are key to your subconscious. They are desire, faith, hope, love, sex, romance, enthusiasm. There are others, but these are the most powerful if you want to see your desires become reality. There are also 7 negative emotions that you need to avoid. They are jealousy, fear, hatred, greed, revenge, superstition, anger. If you get caught up in these emotions, you will never reach your desires. You will never become rich. So how will you handle your emotions? Are you going to make it to rich? Get rich by incorporating these 4 simple habits into your life. So you want to be rich, who doesn't? But why are only 5% of all people able to achieve their goal and achieve wealth? It's not as difficult as you might think. Incorporate these 4 simple habits into your life and begin to reap the benefits and get rich. Number 1. Make sure the goals you set are big. Everyone will define rich differently. Whatever it means to you, the time is now to set your goals to make sure you get there. Having small goals is fine, but if you want to get rich, you are going to have to think big. For example, why not set a goal to build your savings to $50,000 in the next 3 years? That way you are not focusing just on your income. Number 2. Make sure you have a solid reason for all financial decision. Any purchase you make, be sure that you know why you are spending money on it. Why are you saving only 10% of your income, when you could afford to save 25%? It's so easy to fall into a pattern and make the decisions over and over. That's fine if you want to just live life like normal people do, but if you want to grow rich, you need to be accountable to yourself for every single financial decision you make. Number 3. Keep a good journal. Keeping a good journal of where you are spending your money helps you to make sure you are staying on the target of your goals. It also allows you a great place to actually record how you feel about money and related. You will be surprised at just how beneficial this can be in keeping you focused on your goal. You can look back and see where you have been, where you are coming from, and what you are at. After all, this is your journey to wealth. Number 4. The cooling off period. Don't buy immediately. One of the easiest ways to save money and reach the goals that you set is to implement a cooling off period. Anytime you are not buying items that are essential, you should implement a cooling off period. Assigning a dollar value works great as well. For example, let's say that you set your cutoff at $50 and cooling down period of 14 days. Now you want to buy an item X, but it's not needed and it costs $70, so you wait the 14 days and you decide you no longer really want it. You stop making impulse buys and that saves money. Do you know the secret to growing rich? If you are invested in self-improvement and you believe being an entrepreneur is key, you have likely already heard of Napoleon Hill and his very popular book, Think and Grow Rich. After all, to date there have been more than 15 million copies sold. Why has this book become so popular? Largely because it interviews 500 successful men and women with the goal to discover the exact way they used to achieve their goals. So what's the secret? It's really quite simple. It's nothing that any one of us couldn't achieve. Achieve the goals you desire. You need to be engaged with your future and actually focus on achieving the goals that you desire rather than just focusing on financial success. A strong theme seems to run deep, not just through this book, but throughout society where thousands of rich people live. They had the desire. They were ready to experience wealth. If you are ready and you have figured out how to achieve the goals you set, you've accomplished step number 2 to becoming rich. How many self-improvement books have you read? What's the common theme throughout all of them? You can do it. And the truth is you can. The problem is most people read and read and read. Taking in all this information, and much of it is very useful, but they never take it to the next level of using the information they've learned. A few might give it a try, but before long, they are slipping back into their old ways and nothing changes. They find themselves still yearning to be rich but not any closer. You need to have desire and motivation. When you have the desire, you will be looking for opportunities to grow rich at every corner, and when you have motivation, when you find those opportunities, you will act on them. Seems pretty simple, right? Then why do so many people fail? People fail because they give up. They run with an opportunity that comes their way, but it doesn't work, and so rather than trying something new, they give up. They lose their desire and they resign themselves to the life they are living. Bottom line, if you want to grow rich, you're going to pick up the pieces a few times before you find success that leads to riches. Keep at it, keep your desire plus stay motivated plus don't give up equals the way to riches. Do you know the secret to becoming rich? If you are currently living paycheck to paycheck, you are not alone. That is exactly how the majority of people live, barely able to scrape by, all the while working 8 or more hours a day. If you want nothing more than to find a way to escape this madness, you aren't alone. In fact, if you are like most people, you have probably tried numerous get-rich schemes that have done nothing for you. Too many people really think there's a get-rich-fast plan that actually works. The only person getting rich on these scams is the people coming up with them. There is no get-rich-fast scheme, whether it is direct mail programs, MLM, data entry, or one of the many others promoted. If you stop buying into how making money should work and start following a plan of what does work, you too can become one of the rich people. The one thing that all rich people share is that they own their own business. You need to dream big. Dare to do it, think big. It's the secret to fulfilling your dream of being a millionaire. Let's look at the traits that the world's richest people have in common. Asterisk desire. They have plenty of it. Asterisk they are driven. Asterisk they have excellent money management skills. Asterisk they set goals. Asterisk they have created a solid business plan. Asterisk they have a vision. Asterisk they think big. Asterisk they never allow fear to stop them from their goals. Asterisk they are risk takers. Asterisk they have patience. How many of these traits do you have? Do you really want to be a millionaire, or do you just wish you could win the lottery or find a get-rich scheme? If you are just hoping for a miracle, there's some bad news: you aren't likely going to make it to rich. But if being rich is what you really want, it's what you think about all the time, it's where your focus is, you can't imagine spending your life working for little money and high demands, and you have some or all of the traits that the wealthiest members of society have, then you are on your way to becoming one of the richest members of society. There is no better time than right now to start. What the belief system of the wealthy look like? Those people that find wealth don't look and think about things in the same manner as other people do. How often have you heard someone say something like the wealthy are greedy or the wealthy are crooked? These references are not at all true, but those of us that are not wealthy tend to make crazy assumptions. Let's look at what the belief system of the wealthy does look like. 1. Rich people live below their means. Ironic, isn't it, considering most of us live beyond our means? The rich don't live below their means because they are perceptive, but rather because they have so much money they can live like a king and still put money away. 2. Rich people teach their children how to get rich. From an early age, rich kids are shown the haves and have-nots. When children understand wealth from an early age, they are much more likely to strive towards it. 3. Rich people will find peace of mind in their wealth. Wealthy people know that money can't solve their problems and they don't worry about it. Middle-class people find money a necessary evil that they must endure and that they are always stressing out over. 4. Rich people continue their education to further their wealth by reading books on doing just that. So while most people are busy reading tabloids and novels, the wealthy are reading books on how to be more successful. 5. Rich people like to surround themselves with people that think just like they do. No, they aren't being snobs, although how often have you labeled the wealthy as snobs? The reason the rich don't want to hang around with the middle class is because of the negative money mentality. 6. Rich people focus their time on earning. Even when things are tight or there is a cash crisis, the wealthy will reject the attitude of penny pinching. When it comes to money, they are masters at creating the right mental energy. 7. Rich people love the challenge of the uncertainty. In fact, they find comfort in it. It takes guts to take the risks that are necessary to become a millionaire, but risk is something most people are not comfortable with. The middle class is focused on their psychological, emotional, and physical comforts, but those headed for wealth learn early it's not easy, but they learn to be comfortable while surrounded by uncertainty. 8. Rich people know that you really can have it all and that you don't have to choose between having an amazing family and being rich. That's nothing more than an excuse. So do you have the mentality of the wealthy, and are you destined for great things, or are you the 4 steps to bring riches closer to you? If your desire is to enjoy riches and wealth, then you need to create an environment for that to grow and prosper. These 4 steps are key to bringing you closer to enjoying riches. Number 1. Set your money goals. It's time to get your pen and paper out, and make some decisions. What is your goal for earnings for the next 6 months? 12 months? 5 years? 25 years? Write it down, and in addition, create a dream board that is a vision of what wealth is going to look like for you. What are you going to do with your wealth? What are some of the things you are going to buy with your wealth? Think big, don't hold back. Number 2. It's time to track your spending habits. It is time to create a journal of how you are spending your money. There is software that can help you do this, tracking just where your money is going, not just by where you spend it, but by category as well. For example, entertainment, utilities, housing, etc. Number 3, you need to create an income stream. All around you are business opportunities, and you don't always require a large amount of capital to get started. However, you may need to think outside the box, change the way you are thinking about getting your start. You also need to set at least one goal, and more is better. Here are some examples of goals. * My goal is to own my own business. * My goal is to be my own boss. * My goal is to have financial freedom. * My goal is to be in control of my life. * My goal is to create residual income. When you begin to focus on the goals that you set, you will actually reprogram your subconscious. Suddenly opportunities will begin to pop up everywhere. It's exciting. Number 4, don't be afraid to be generous. Be generous with your money. If you have not had money, you might tend to want to hang on to your newfound money, your growing wealth. But you need to begin to think and act like you have abundance and share it freely. This does not mean that you are being careless. It means that rather than giving the basic 10% tip, you give 20%. It means helping someone that's down on their luck, or it means sending flowers to someone that's important to you. Make a pact with yourself to be generous once a week. If you want to grow rich, you need to think big. You've heard it before, you are what you eat. Well, that methodology also applies to your financial well-being. Think small, you'll live small and struggle with a small income. Think big, you'll live big and find yourself with an abundance of wealth. Now, don't confuse living big with living extravagantly and beyond your means. Live big means you focus on your wealth and on being wealthy. You don't spend your days counting your pennies and worrying about where your next dollar will come from. You know that you will have an abundance of money. You spend time dreaming about how you will use your wealth, where you will live, where you will travel. You think big. That constant focus will guide you in the right direction and help you to achieve your goals. Of course, it's going to take a lot more than just sitting there dream. You'll be disappointed if all you do is meditate your day away envisioning your big pile of greenbacks. But desire will motivate you to reach your wealth. If you are content with the humdrum 9 to 5 waiting for the next paycheck, knowing full well that you'll be broke before you even get that check, then that's the life you are destined to. But if you are not content with that, if your desire is to have the freedom to do what you want, to see what the world has to offer, to live like a millionaire, to travel the world, then you'll have the desire to make that happen. Your imagination is important. Again, if your imagination and desire of being wealthy is limited to dreaming about what numbers you'll pick on next week's lottery ticket, you're still missing what it takes to grow rich. Imagination and self-motivation go hand in hand. Look at some of the wealthiest people and their stories, and you'll find that long before they were wealthy, they were already dreaming about what they could have done better, what they could have done more efficiently. They were motivated. Finally, you'll need to make some decisions. If you are going to grow rich, you simply can't sit on the fence trying to decide. You'll need to make decisions, right or wrong. The wrong decisions aren't a waste because they should be seen as lessons. When you make up your mind, make sure you stick to it. Opinions are everywhere. In fact, on the entire planet, they are the cheapest commodity to be found. So, don't let other people's opinions affect you. You too can become rich. Start by thinking big.